thing too, but when John Kitchens pulls up to a big real estate closing, what's playing on the radio?
Back when I was selling, or what would be playing right now? Back in those days,
because I saw some Jay-Z, some Nipsey Hussle.
It was definitely some Jay-Z, but I can throw down some Kenny Chesney and some George Strait and some Alabama with you too. So I got a broad range.
Jake and I have this this obstacle of figuring out what the heck are we going to talk about, right? Because we've done private money, we've done marketing, and at some point it's like, are we going to run out of stuff to talk about? And so I'm like, oh my gosh! So we're bringing on guests and things like, and I was talking to Jake. I said, Jake, do you think John would come on, like with our group here in Columbia? And I could tell Jake was like, man, I don't know. People throw a lot of money at that guy just to get a half hour with him. Like, I don't know. And I was, come on, man. Like, this is your boy. Like, I'm sure he'll do it. Just ask. And so sure enough, he agreed to, you guys. And this is someone who has been responsible for over 4,000 real estate transactions. This is someone who's helped build multiple 7-figure real estate businesses. And if you're into stuff like that, this is your guy. This is someone who, as an entrepreneur, like, I know for me, I don't know about you guys, but one of the things I really struggled with when it came to owning my own business was really structuring my time and figuring out where to put my energy. We have kids, we've got other stuff going on. Lots of times, if you're just starting out as an agent or an investor or starting a small business, you may also have your normal 9-to-5 job too. And it's like, where do I put my energy to get the best return on my investment, which is our number one investment, which is our time. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the reins over to John. So let's give him a huge welcome, guys. Give a round of applause for John Kitchens. Let's welcome him to the REUP.
Oh, man.
All right.
I love it. We're
so
man.
Excited,
Thank you,
man.
guys.
Can you tell?
I love the energy. So no, I appreciate it. And appreciate you guys having me on. And, Jake asked kind of, hey, where can we add, the most value? And I had an opportunity to speak at a Build conference in Dallas a couple months ago on stage. It was Brent Gove's event, and Tony Robbins was obviously the main attraction. But it was a 3-day event, and I think there were 14 of us that were able to speak. And this was kind of the presentation that I took everybody through that day. And it's right things, right order. And it's one of the things that we always talk about. And I mean, I believe that there's a code and a sequence to unlock anything in our lives, right? I think everything is out there available to us, but it's getting it in the right order to unlock that combination. And so I was like, man, I gotta take everybody through this, right? So you can understand, because it doesn't matter what you're building. If you're building, a real estate business, if you're building, an investment business, if you're building freaking snow cone stand, it doesn't matter. It's all the same sequence, right things, right order. And that's what we'd love to share with you guys and walk everybody through. So I'm going to share my screen. We'll put it in this little present mode. Okay, cool. So right things, right order. Like I said, the goal, the intent is to give you guys some insight, some clarity on, what are the right things in the right order? What do I need to be thinking about? What am I missing? And being able to unlock that combination in your business. Something, might be off and we might not be firing on all cylinders. So hopefully to give you some ahas and some distinctions that we need to be thinking about as we, finish this year strong and move into the new year. And if not, you guys can, head out into Columbia, with this strut and looking like Mr. Connor, and not like this Connor, right? I don't know why I think that's funny. That's the funniest, he's got the broken foot down there. Anyways. All right. So I'm a coach's kid, man. I grew up in the locker room, and, grew up in the locker room, grew up on the field, grew up on, on the court, and spending summers, taking care of all the fields with my pop. And, for me, it's just one of those things, right? Environment and circumstance drives everything. Environment is greater than willpower. And, just being in that proximity of being able to see the power of what a coach can do, right? The impact of the transformation on young men and young women's lives. And, just being able to see that. My dad was public school teacher and coach for over 40 years. And, so just being around that, it just kind of instilled into my DNA. And I knew, though, that I did not want to become a teacher. I did not want to coach public sports, because I saw his paycheck and I was like, there has got to be a better way. And so it's just crazy how that kind of has carried over. And, for me, college dropout, I went to school, supposed to be playing golf. I was on the drinking team more so than the golf team. And my aunt was like, what the heck are you doing? I mean, I had long hair. I had a freaking Harley. And she's like, you're a loser. Like, what are you doing? And so she said, get your butt. So I'm in Lawton, Oklahoma. She said, get your butt out here. She lives in Hollister, California. At the time, the golf course there was 36 holes, and it was semi-private. And, went out there with the intent of, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just know I'm changing scenery and I've got a job. So she hooked me up with a job inside the pro shop. And have you guys ever had one of the most amazing bosses ever? If you haven't, I wish you would have, because for me, I had that. And Kathy was incredible. She took me under her wing and she's like, you know how to play golf. You know how to teach golf. She goes, I'm going to teach you how to run a business. And so she's like, you need to spend time in all of the departments. She goes, I need you in the kitchen. I need you spending time with the chef. I need you spending time with the wait staff. I need you in the bar. I need you over in lodging. Right. And here's the cool thing, right? Because when you're in a semi-private resort, you get to know how to deal with the public, and you get to know how to deal with the politics with members. So it was just a unique environment and unique situation. This was 99, 2000. So this is just imagine, California at that time, what was happening and just the boom and everything that was going on out there. And so it was just an overall great experience. That was my school. That was my college, right? You want to impact how the public dresses, raise your rate by $3, right? You have public people showing up in tank tops, raise it by $4, and they'll stop coming. Just little things like that you don't know until you're in the trenches. So like always, man, got sucked back home. A couple buddies, I want to say he's the world's greatest salesman. He sold me to move back and go to work construction. They were doing on the road construction, building they would do the rough frame and the punch out for Chili's, Bone Daddies, the type of franchise restaurants. And truth is he was tired of being on the road, and he had a business partner that he didn't trust completely, and he needed eyes on the ground of somebody he trusted. So that was fun. I mean, we did that for a couple of years, but ended up getting ready to have my son. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm off the road. I'm coming home. And these guys are serial entrepreneurs. So being able to take ideas into an actual profitable business model and flipping it. And so we did that with a sign manufacturing neon company. We did it with the lawn landscape company. We ended up moving the construction company. And then the last one, we had a garbage company. We ended up selling in 13 months. We had the idea, and in 13 months we sold to Waste Connections. And this was 2003. And we're sitting there like, well, what's next? What do we want to do? And my buddy goes, man, the bar up around the corner is for sale. And so for some dumbass idea, we thought it would be a good idea to buy a bar. And if you guys are ever thinking about buying a bar, let's have a conversation, because I can tell you all the reasons why you don't want to own a bar. And so that was
seminar.
That's a whole nother seminar.
Whole nother workshop.
So I ended up going there, and my buddy, Michael Reese, Michael is the connector. Michael and I went to junior high school together that year and a half while we were at Cameron. We lived together, and he was in real estate at the time, and he knew I was about to jump, and he made the introduction. And I met Kinder in 2004. And, over the past 17 years, man, we've 2 different 7-figure real estate businesses, over 4,300 total transactions. What's really cool is that's 2 different markets. We were in Lawton, Oklahoma, average sales price of about 120, 100,000 population in the entire county, military town, Fort Sills there. And then, Dallas, Texas. So we brokerage, and, we rock and rolled on it until we were introduced to EXP, and we shut the brokerage down in 2017 when we moved over to EXP. But back in 2012, the guys started up their mastermind program out of the coaching, which was Kinder Reese Coaching at the time. And they started a mastermind group, and you had to be doing $1 million in revenue to even get invited to come into the room. And we finished up our first mastermind. We were in Aspen, and we're sitting there after having breakfast, getting ready to get on the plane home. And Jay says, "Hey, bud, we need a coach that wants to coach these masterminds. Do you want to do it?" And I'm like, "You going to pay me?" And he's like, heck yeah, I'm going to pay you. I was like, okay, cool. Because I coach all of these people already, because they call me all the time to figure out what we're doing. And so that was the transition. So over, since 2012, I've had the opportunity to work with, the Jacobs of the world, to right now I'm coaching the #1 team in Utah, right? They'll do 700 transactions, they'll do 1,500 transactions next year. And then the third year, they'll be the #1 team at EXP. And so, I just have a unique skill set and perspective of being in multiple markets and working with so many people. Like Noah said, tons of calls, and just opportunity to work with some really, really cool people. So for me, man, it's all about inspiring and challenging people to think bigger. And what gives me the fulfillment is the transformation, business and lives. And, Jacob can attest, I can help you grow your business, but more importantly, I can help you and your team be better human beings. And that's what really drives me. So right things, right order, vision, model, strategy, people, right? We all know this, but it's putting it in the right order, right? And then it's what's the temperature that we need to let this cook at. That's the key too, right? That's the other ingredient. That's the other piece of the recipe. And sometimes, we want to turn that temperature up when that cake needs to bake at 400 or at 350. We want to crank it to 9, and that don't work. So it's not only getting these things in the right sequence, but it's also getting into the cadence of being able to run with it. So we'll open it up. Questions, after this, if you guys have anything, definitely be able to connect. But it's the vision. And I really, really believe all of you as business owners and entrepreneurs, man, we need a clear and compelling vision. It's not what the vision is, it's what the vision does, right? The vision aligns us. It gives us the ability to make better decisions, right? Sometimes we end up saying yes to things that we're like, man, I should have never said yes to that. And so, the #1 productivity tool we have is the word no. And as Tim Grover says, right, no is a complete sentence. But yet, do we know what to say yes to and what to say no to? And without the destination of where we're trying to get to, we potentially could be saying yes to things that are going to set us back. So vision is broken down into 3 components. First one are our core values. How do we behave, right? How do they help us shape our organization? It's the shoulds and should nots. We behave this way. We don't behave this way. And as you continue to grow and you add people around you, then you want to find the people that embody those values. If not, that's where the friction comes in, right? That's when you have 2 people that don't have the same beliefs, that's where friction comes in. And so we want to make sure that we're aligning with people that believe what we believe, that are, embodying the values that we embody. These are our core 6. I think we have 9 right now, 9 or 10. We've had 13 to 7, but no matter what, these are our core 6. And if you are a part of the Honey Badger group and you see these 6, you're like, okay, that makes sense. I see why these guys are the way they are. One is growth mindset, right? We have to have a growth mindset. We have to be, focused on, improving and getting better, even if it's 1% every day. Add value, make a difference. Did I make a decision? It may have backfired on me, but I was coming with the intent of just adding value and trying to make a difference. 100-0 is 100% accountability, 0 excuses, right? There's every situation we could have always done something different, right? That's extreme ownership, right? If you guys haven't read, Jocko's book, it's unbelievable. And he really dives into this and he breaks it apart. There's also a book called 100-0. And it's just a fantastic concept. As soon as we kind of went through it, we adopted it. We always believed that, right? No excuses, take full accountability. Open and real, right? That's candid, right? Being candid in our conversations. You have to be careful about conversations and utilizing this, right? Being candid, because it can be used as a weapon, right? If I have an issue or something, rub me the wrong way and I just all over Noah, right? And Noah's not ready to receive, then that's going to be kind of an attack. That's what I mean by a weapon. And so when we progress in our communication is getting permission, right? Hey, Jake, can I make an observation? Hey, Jake, can I give you some tough love, right? You get permission. And then that way the person that you're getting permission from is open and is going to receive the message that you're trying to deliver. So we want to be candid in our conversations, but we want to be what is Gary V calls it, kind candor, right? We want to be nice about it. We don't want to be a jerk. The other is leaders creating leaders, right? We're always really trying to pour into others. First and foremost, I believe you can't lead another human being until you lead yourself. But once you're able to lead yourself, then it's about leading others and then leading others to lead others. You want to create, a team of leaders around you. And then the last one is get shit done. And, we got pushback on that from some people and we knew that those weren't our people, right? Hey, I think we need to change it to stuff. We get stuff done. It's like, no, we don't. We get shit done. And so if you don't like that, then this is probably not the environment that you want to be in. And, it's real important that when you have these values that you're finding your people, right, to align with, and it helps them make better decisions. Next is purpose, right? So we have how we behave. Why do we do what we do? Why does this company exist? And more importantly, why should anybody care, right? What's REUP? Learn, network, grow. Is that what the last one is?
Grow.
So that's why REUP exists, right? We're here to learn, we're here to network, and we're here to grow. That's the purpose of REUP. So what is that purpose for you? What is the purpose for the organization? See, people, the reason that the vision is so important is what people rally around. They understand what you believe, and it attracts people, right? We don't want to chase them. We want to attract them. What are we attracting to? And then lastly is BHAG. What is that big, hairy, audacious goal that you have for your business? What's the mountain that you're in pursuit of? The challenge when people are thinking this, and maybe some of us on this call, I know when I talk to a lot of real estate agents, here we are the beginning of October, some of them don't even know how they're going to pay for Christmas. So it's like, John, how do you want me to think about the top of a mountain when I don't even know how I'm going to, get presents under the tree? And it's like, well, without knowing where we're trying to go, we don't know what decisions we need to make that's going to impact the revenue that you need to not only survive, but also put the presents under the tree. Where are we working towards, right? What decisions are we trying to make? And it's the thing we see all the time with real estate agents, right? There's nothing in this business that there's very few things that you can do dollar per hour with the low barrier of entry in selling real estate. Like, tell me where else you can go. You make 100,000 a year working, 20, 30 hours a week on your own schedule, right? Dollar per hour activities. But yet so many agents, because they don't have a clear vision in what they want for their business to look like, they end up running over, taking a $9, $10 an hour job. It's like, really? Like, the hours that you're putting in there, if you would dedicate the hours to the activities that drive results, like, you wouldn't be in the situation you're in. So the challenge here, though, like I said, is that everything is looked through the lens of your current reality, your current financial situation. So what I always tell people when we're thinking big, and this is Dan Sullivan quote. It's one of my favorite quotes, is that if you're not happy with your present situation, is that your future isn't big enough. For our present to be better, our future has to be bigger. This is where your vision, this is where your BHAG comes in. Are you thinking big enough? And the answer is usually no, you're not thinking big enough. And it's because you're looking through the lens of your current situation. So what I always tell people, what would you do if you had 10 million liquid cash in the bank? What would you do? What would you do over the next 10 years? What would you be in pursuit of? What would be that big, hairy, audacious goal? So those are the three components that make up our vision: values, purpose, and BHAG. Once we have a clear vision, then it becomes down to, what is the model that we need to design in order to work in pursuit of that vision? And where I see a lot of agents get in trouble is that they're really rigid to the model. They're not understanding that how my model needs to evolve and be elastic to the situation is really understanding what is a model. Well, your business model really is just this simple. How do you create? How do you deliver? And how do you capture value? That's it, right? How are you doing that? And so when you break down the pieces and the components, it's like, okay, these are my 9 building blocks that I need to focus on. So who are my customers? Right? Who's got my money? Where is my money? Where are my people? Who are my ideal clients that I want to work with? Next, what is my value? What value do I bring these people? Channels. How am I going to get that message out? Right? Website, social media, door knocking, open houses. Like, what are all the ways to deliver my value proposition to the people that have my money? Customer relationships. How do I build trust? How do I maintain relationships? And I would change out customer to client, right? Customer is what you are at Walmart. Client is somebody that's within your care. So your client relationships. What are all the revenue streams? Inside of real estate, we want 6, 7 different revenue streams. Right? If you're building a team, you've got buyer's agents, you've got listing agent, you've got agents that are selling houses, right? That's a revenue stream. Do you have a transaction fee? That's a revenue stream. Do you have vendor money support? That's a revenue stream. The deals you do is a revenue stream. So what are all the revenue streams that we have within the business? What are our key resources? What are the resources that we have to be able to operate the model? What are our main activities, right? In real estate, there's only a handful of things that matter: lead gen, lead conversion, pitching your offer, negotiating deals, and showing houses. If you're working with buyers, there's really only about 4 or 5 things that matter in real estate. So what are those key activities? What are our key partnerships, right? Who can help us grow the transactions? And then cost structure, right? What's the budget? What's it cost us to operate within this structure? So those are the key things to focus on, but it really comes back down to, how am I creating? How am I delivering? And how am I capturing the value that I have to my ideal client, the ideal person that I really want to work with? Once we have a workable model in pursuit of our vision, then comes strategy. And the easiest thing to think about here, what's my plan? don't, when I say strategy to a lot of people, it's just like eyes, it goes over their head. So what is the plan? What is our plan within the model to move us closer to the vision? What is it that we have to do? And when you look at good strategy versus bad strategy, the easiest thing to think about is, what is the challenge? I'm at point A. This is my current reality. This is where I'm at. I'm trying to get to point B. And there's a lot of point A's and point B's in the vision, the vision, that big, hairy, audacious goal, that's point B, point A. But in the example, how am I going to get money for Christmas? Well, I'm at point A, that's point B. How do I get from here to there, wherever there is? Now, what happens is that there's always a constraint in between A and B. That's where strategy comes in. That's where the plan comes in, because that's my challenge. How do I solve that challenge? That's when you're working on the right thing, is because you're working on the problem. That's strategy. Bad strategy is that you don't even think about the challenge. It's just you're oblivious to it. You're like with blinders on. You're not even looking at it. And so we have to understand that goals, ambition, vision, effort for strategy, they're important, but they're not strategy. It's not the plan, right? Do we have a good plan or do we not? Are we addressing the real issue or are we not? And I just believe as entrepreneurs and business owners, we have to have a good plan. We have to have the right plan focused on the right problem. And then it comes down to people, right? It comes down to people. Once we have this vision, we have this workable model, we have the right plan, then it becomes down to, what does my team have to look like in order for us to execute on this plan within this model in pursuit of the vision? They work together. It takes all of them to work together. But what we have to look at is that as leaders of our organization, the number one metric that we always have to be thinking about is, what do I have my bus filled with the right people for those seats? I love Jesse Itzler's analogy is that our life, like when we're born, our bus starts rolling and it never stops. And throughout life, people are getting on the bus and off the bus, right? And so our job, when we get the people on the bus, do we have them sitting in the right seats? And not only for our business, but for our life, right? That entire life team. And, you think about all of the different activities and all the things that you do or you try to do. It's probably, it's a who equation. It's what April was showing the book before we went live here was, it's who, not how. And, we have a challenge and we're hardwired to go, how am I going to do that? But what Dan Sullivan teaches on is that that's the wrong question. The better question is, who do I need on my team? Or who do I need to work with? Or who do I need to call? Who do I need to mentor that can help me solve this challenge, right? Do I have the team that can execute and solve this problem within how we're structured that's trying to move us closer to where we're trying to get to? So our job, entrepreneurs, leaders, running our own business is do we have the right people for those seats? And it changes as you guys grow, those roles change. Clayton Mask was a mentor of ours. He's the CEO of Infusionsoft, and he has a concept called ones and threes. Typically, we can get to 100,000 revenue by ourselves. Maybe need some help to get to 300,000. Maybe those people that helped us at 300,000 on our way to $1 million can get us there. But typically, the people that got us to $1 million in revenue cannot get us to 3 million in revenue. And then when you think even bigger, they get you to 3. That team, they're probably not going to be able to get you to 10. And then, 10 to 30, they're definitely not going to be able to, right? You have to level up every time you're trying to level up, and it's okay. Right. I think where a lot of people get hung up is like, man, they're not growing. It's not your job, to drag them along. Did they choose not to go with you? It's Andy Frisella had a great rant on that. And he talked about it and he was like, it is not your job to drag people along with you. It's their choice to go with you. Right. Did they just not go? That was their choice. And I think, if you can overcome that in your head and understand it, that it's not your responsibility, that, you relieve yourself, you relieve that burden that you had. And I mean, I felt it for the longest time, we outgrew our team in Lawton, Oklahoma, and I tried to drag those guys, and I just had to let them, come at their own pace, which is several years behind my pace, but they're slowly getting there, but it's not my job to drag them. It's to provide the path and the opportunity, and it's their choice to work through there. And like I said, it's more so about the entire life team than it is just within your business. So just be careful, be really mindful of that. And, I am going to ask a favor. If you guys haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, do it. It's, man, we I think we do 3 lives a week that go in there. We do either a Q&A with Jay, Kinder, and Al Stasic, or what we have a power hour with just me and Kinder. And we usually dive into whatever questions anybody has. So those are all on YouTube, and all the expert mentors that we do are there. So we did episode 163 today with Brandon Town and Greg. I can't pronounce his last name, and nobody else can. So it's DeMillionaire. And so him and Greg were on today, and it was a fantastic conversation with those guys. And then I do coffee and coaching. I know Jacob's been on, and we just talk with just awesome people about what's going on with their business and their life, and it's good. So I always ask, right? So my son, he's 10 now. When he was 9 at the beginning of this year, he set up my YouTube channel. So he was pretty strategic in like wanting a reward. And he was like, hey, as we grow this, can I get more money? And so he negotiated. I was like, all right, cool. Every 100 subscribers we'll get, I'll give you money. He said, $100. I was like, all right, $100. So for every 100 subscribers we get, and so it's just fun. That's just the bribe that I always ask. If you guys, if we haven't connect, but definitely subscribe on YouTube. One last thing. So we talked about, setting those goals, and, really pushing ourselves to think bigger, do harder things. And so, I mentioned my dad as a coach, and, a lot of the reasons, especially, earlier on, I was 11, when, I lost my mom, and she was 39. She was 2 months from turning 40. And so when I was about to turn 40, I was like, man, I want to do something to kind of push myself. And the most I had ever ran up to that point was a 5K. And I was like, man, I think I want to do a marathon. And so we ended up not just any marathon, right? So we did New York City, did a big deal, took my daddy, had never been before. And so he turned 70, and took him, and it was just an awesome experience. But I got a little kind of complacent coming out of there, and I hadn't reset the goal. And I remember what Jesse was saying is that the worst thing that we can do as humans is accomplish something significant, but not reset the goal, either as significant or bigger. And I was like, man, what can I do? And so, my buddy, so Mike Reese, if you guys, if you know who Mike is, he has this way to instigate. He's an instigator. And so he sends me a text with the link to Ironman Florida, which was the 10-year anniversary. And I was like, what does this even mean? Right. So unpacked all of that, like 2.4 swim. I was like, man, I haven't been in the water. The only time I get in the water is if I got a beer in my hand. And then it's like, 112 miles on the bike. Are you kidding me? I haven't been on a bike since I was 15. And then it's like, then a marathon. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I understand what that is, as I had just done that not too long ago. And so I think that understanding that is also what it takes to really gain full commitment to something. And, you know, taking the time, unpacking it, I was able to determine, can I commit to this or not? And of course I did. And you know, dove in to training, and I found, of course, I can just buy an online training and I can get, you know, I can accomplish what I want to accomplish. And I got about 2.5 months out from the event and I was lost. I was like, what is a transition? How do I get my bike to Florida? Like all of these things. And I'm like, dude, you're such an idiot. I'm like, you're a coach. Like, your dad is a coach. Like, why do you not have a coach? You are just, this is like the dumbest thing ever. So I hired a coach immediately. I've had an endurance coach ever since. My coach now, she's a rock star. She's actually pro. She races half Ironmans on the pro circuit, and so she is. She's gangster. But I was like, man, what an idiot, right? And so the point is that we all need help. Even those that are a coach that think we don't need a coach, we all need a coach. And, you know, it's just one of those things. And I know this at my core. I know, and I believe that a great coach in your life will make your life better. You know, and also the understanding that if we want our business to be better, we have to be better. And that's where a coach, peer group, mentors can really help. So when it gets tough, man, you know, don't have to go down that road on your own. That's a who. That's a real important who for you in your life as well. So yeah, I've been able to go on, do a couple, actually done 3. So fun. Cool. Well, that's all.
And we appreciate you, John. Hey, those calves, those are 7-figure calves right there. Holy cow. Looking good.
This is funny. I was at the store grabbing some stuff prior to Ironman Tulsa, and this dude, it was kind of weird. And he's like, hey man, don't take this the wrong way. He said, dude, your calves are like off the charts. He's like, I've been trying to build my calves. How do I do that? I'm like, I don't know, dude, get on a bike, go for a run. That's all I do.
Yeah, so well, can we open up for questions?
Fire away.
Okay, cool.
This is my wheelhouse. Q&A is my wheelhouse.
All right, so we'll have a little fun too with it. So again, guys, if you're just hopping on the call, you may have missed John's introduction, but like we're super grateful to have him here and blessed that, you know, this is one of Jacob's right-hand guys, one of his pillars, one of his coaches. It's helped him build his business and over 4,000, you know, responsible for over 4,000 transactions, multiple companies in different states. So, you know, 7-figure revenue streams, just super, super cool. So I got to ask you, like, I always like to like understand the people, like real estate is a people business. And I just, I'm fascinated by just meeting people in addition to the strategies and everything too. But when John Kitchens pulls up to a big real estate closing, what's playing on the radio?
Back when I was selling, or what would be playing right now? Back in those days,
because I saw, you know, some Jay-Z, some Nipsey Hussle.
It was definitely some Jay-Z, but okay. I can throw down some Kenny Chesney and some George Strait and some Alabama with you too. Okay. So I got a broad range. If it was now,
so I was thinking, you're getting ready to go on the big show, the big re-up show, and you're like maybe playing some Nipsey Hussle. You're like hustle and motivate.
That is the song, right?
I got a show today.
All right. It is Nipsey. It is Nipsey, and it's I tell everybody, they say, "Hey, what's a song you want to come out to?" And I'm like, "Well, you're only going to be able to play 43 seconds of it, but it is Nipsey, and it's hustle and motivate."
Yeah, that's when I was just you
better stop it at 43 seconds. That's what I always tell them.
We need to hang out. All right, like as far as like what would you say is like the biggest obstacle? Because coaching is so impactful because you have the ability to like take a step back and look at someone else from a really unbiased perspective, right? Where you're just like, hey, I've got no skin in the game other than just observing and looking at technique and strategy. What's one of the most common things that you recognize with people? Like, let's go real estate agent, real estate investor. I guess, we have a lot of the same, like steps, if you will. Like we're both looking for sellers. We're both sitting down at the kitchen table and giving listing presentations, if you will, and trying to gain rapport. And so there's a lot of similarities there, right? What would you say is like one of the most common mistakes that you see people make that just steering it a little bit could make a big impact over the long term?
Yeah. And I think that's, it goes to the power of coaching, right? Because we all have blind spots. And I think that's, the real power of having a coach, one that you align with, that can help reveal those blind spots, right? Because what we reveal, we can heal. And it's hard to heal something that we don't know is an issue. And so knowing that, we all have those blind spots. And that's the thing that I see. It's something that I can see in, 2 seconds is something that they may have been dealing with for 2 years. And it's just they're just so it's just they're not aware, right? They don't have that level of awareness. And so where a great coach can help us is that they can just shine the light, right? That there's something just to create that awareness, because once you have awareness, now you have a choice. You can choose to do something about it, or you can choose to do nothing about it. But now you're aware of it. And so there's just a tendency of blind spots, and a lot of it, it's either it's a capabilities issue. It's a skill that they're maybe lacking, that they're not aware that they need. It could be a softer skill, right? It could be, do you know how to build rapport? Do you know how to talk to another human being? Do you have empathy? Right? Are you developing those skills? And I think it's just a combination of it. And
being able to recognize it,
able to recognize it.
Yeah. And I think one thing I really took, so last month I went to Jacob's action orientated agent class. It's like, well, I'll tell you guys about that in a minute. So like, and the big takeaway that I had was just like how to really work your calendar. Two things I really left there with, like, they were like ingrained in my mind. Number one was just how to like put it on your calendar. Everything goes on your calendar, like in organizing your day. Start Sunday, right? Plan your week out. And then the other thing that I found like super valuable, you guys, and here's the deal. Like all of you that are on this call, like we're friends on Facebook, a lot of us, but you're not in my cell phone. And there's some of you that are in my cell phone who may not be on Facebook. And Jake said, hey, look, make sure that the people that are on Facebook are in your phone. The people in your phone are on your Facebook. And I took that away. So between the calendar and just like bringing in all of your resources, it was just super valuable. And I know we got a lot of that time management stuff from you. Yeah.
It if it doesn't make the calendar, it doesn't happen. And I think that's another one of the challenges that I see with real estate agents is that, oh, I want all of this flexibility. I want to be on my own schedule. Well, that's not going to get you the results you want. I always tell agents when they're coming in, especially if they've been an employee somewhere, is keep that employee discipline, keep that employee mindset of, I need to be structured. I need to start on time. I need to end on time. I need to have these type of rhythm and structure and really living from the calendar, right? Number one productivity tool is the word no. Number two productivity tool is the calendar. And there is a right, like I said, there's a code and a sequence to everything. And it's the same thing with the calendar. The first thing that goes into our calendar are our high lifetime value activities, our time. See, there's 168 hours every week. Noah has it, April has it, Jacob has it, I have it. We all have the same time, 168. You back out, sleep, taking care of ourselves. There's about 100 hours left. Okay. Out of those 100 hours, what are you going to do? And so we always look at, hey, and the reason that you look at it every week is because every week is different. There is not 2 identical weeks in a year. Things always come up and go. So you can say, hey, I've got 100 hours this week. I'm going to spend 50 working and 50 on everything else. Well, what goes in first? Well, what goes in first are the things that, we need to prioritize, which is, I love Hal Elrod's book, The Miracle Morning, and his savers, the silence. So silence, prayer, meditation, whatever that is for you. A, affirmations. V, visualization. E, exercise, right? R, reading, scribing. The other one that you guys probably are maybe even more aware of is the 75 hard, right? The 75 hard, those are all, it's teaching you discipline, but it's teaching you the habits to be successful. And, those things go in your calendar first, right? Family night, date night, all the things you time goes in first. Second goes in our high leveraged activities, right? The 4 or 5 things in this business that matter: lead gen, lead conversion, pitching your offer, sitting at the kitchen table, delivering your value proposition, negotiating deals. And if you're working with buyers, showing properties, those go in first, those go in second. Then goes in your, priorities. Like, what priorities do you have? What are you working on? What are the, the most valuable priority? What is the main initiatives that I'm committed to make progress on this week? Key strategic meetings, things like that go in. And then lastly, anything else. But if you do it right, there won't be time for anything else, right? You've got all your high lifetime value activities, your relationships, taking care of yourself, those things first. Second is the business, the most important things in the business. And so if you do it right, now what will start to happen, especially as you guys gain more traction, more success, is that your start and stop times for work will start to creep. You'll be starting work earlier and you'll end work later. Those are red flags. That's what you want to be aware of, because that's creeping. That means you're probably doing things that you don't need to be doing. And that's where you need to go to the who, right? I need a who to help me get my calendar back on track. And you start looking at all of those activities that they need to do. But yeah, right things, right order into the calendar. But and understand
it's
that
probably so easy to say no if your calendar is prioritized.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Boom.
Boom.
Awesome. Hey, any other questions, you guys? Hey, it's not every day we get someone like John on here, so if you have any questions, you can type it in the chat box, or just unmute yourself. April.
I got a question. Okay, so I have to ask this question. You kind of burst my bubble, but in a good way. So I got to Jacob because I sold a property. You may not need this, but I need you to play with me. I got to Jacob because I sold a property in Colombia for very specific reasons. Jacob, when I told him all my hopes and dreams in a nutshell of being a successful real estate investor and that I want mailbox money, he brought me to REUP, which got me to Noah. Both of them have been a blessing. And then I creeped in on Jacob's time to get to you. And this book is like literally becoming my baby daddy, right? Totally using a cultural colloquialism with no shame. Like, we going to bed, we waking up, we doing all the things. That being said, you low-key just bust my bubble with the real estate agent thing, saying that real estate agents can make all this money, do this little work. Now, I have a habit of skipping steps in life because I'm smart. So I'll be like, I don't need that. I just want to get there. So where I'm getting is where the mailbox money is here. So my question is, do you feel I need to step back and go down the route of agent before thinking about mailbox money? Or said differently, for me to get to mailbox money, what is the most strategic course of action from being right here at ground zero?
Yeah, I mean, I think, whatever it costs you to live per month, do you have that money coming in? And freedom is when you've got more money coming in that you're not trading time for dollars. That's freedom, right? If it costs you $5,000 a month to live and you've got 6,000 that's just coming in, you're free. And so now if your lifestyle changes and it costs you 30,000 to live a month, then, you got a little bit of work to do. So what I always say is, what do you have to do that's going to, make sure we have cash flow? And in the beginning, we're trading time for dollars, right? So being able to trade that time, and then building, the money building the mailbox money, whatever that is for you, right? We all have that. And the other thing too is, are we, taking the time that we're trading for dollars and reinvesting beyond what it cost us to live to help build that mailbox money. So it's a little bit of a combination, but everybody's kind of different just depending upon, what it costs you to break even each month, and really trying to build to that. Yeah, I mean, that's just one of the things, but if you guys are on the investment side, I mean, in your licensed, I mean, I think real estate deals will just fall in your lap. If you're aggressively, proactively looking for opportunities and you're talking to people, that's where you have solutions to what it is that they're trying to accomplish. You as an investor might be one solution, but not all offers are created the same. So, because that might not be the best opportunity for them. So when you're saying, hey, I'm not going to be able to help you as an investor because that's not your opportunity, but let's go through our proven system to get you the most amount of money, because putting the most amount of money is what's most important to you. Right. And so that's where you can flip the other hat and say, not going to be able to help you out as an investor, but I can help you this way. Let's talk about that. Right. So to me, and we came in the other way, right? We came in from the real estate side and happened to take on the investment opportunities. Whereas, if you're coming in on the investment side, can we use the real estate side as another solution, right? Because if you're talking to more people, because all business is offers minus no's equals yeses. If you're not getting enough yeses, it's because you haven't got enough no's. And if you haven't got enough no's, you haven't made enough offers. And that's all it is. So, it's a cash flow game, and it's at a different season of your life, right? So where are you at in your life, and what do I need to do to maintain that positive cash flow? So I have the wherewithal to reinvest back into that mailbox money. Keep going about it. So yeah, I mean, our experience, like I said, we came in on the real estate side and happened to pick up the investment. Whereas if you're coming in investment, is real estate side something you want to mess with or not?
Okay, thank you.
I think that's great advice, and I would also just say, hey, give me a call, and really that I think that's a question that is very specific to the individual asking it as well.
100%.
Because what I find, and I'm sure John will echo this too, is if I talk with someone and they've got $1 million in the bank and their monthly expenses are X, it would be very easy for us to create what they need, and maybe not even have to go and buy 100 rental properties. Maybe you just do one larger deal or something like that, right? Or private money lend to get the cash flow that you're looking for. If someone were to say, hey, I'm kind of starting with nothing, which is how a lot of our real estate investors start. It's like, hey, I want to get into real estate because there's the financial freedom and so forth. Then, a lot of times why we do the flips is to get the money. But if I'm meeting someone who's like, hey, look, I'm a doctor, I want mailbox money, I've got a career, I'm about to retire, then it's really just as simple as, cool, give me your money, and we'll figure out help you hit your goals. And then if this is something that you're really loving and enjoying, then I would highly recommend getting your real estate license too, because it's just going to make things more fun down the road. And there's other income opportunities there too. When I had my real estate license, like you're like me, you're very social. A lot of people know you. I see on Facebook, everyone is just like attracted to you and your energy. So what's really cool is that like when people would come to me all the time and say, hey, look, when I had my license, which I'm gonna get it again, it just makes sense, is people would come to me and say, hey, look, I want to sell, I need to sell, and I didn't necessarily take on the listing, but I was collecting referral fees. So referral fees were funding my lifestyle, and I wasn't even listing any houses. And people that were like, hey, I want to do what you do. Okay, cool. Like, let's figure out what you want to do. Is it investing or is it the agent side of the business? And they work really well together. But you know, what's cool is right now, focus, fill your calendar with your big, hairy activity. What's the big
goal? Big, hairy, audacious goal.
Figure out what you want in life right now, put your energy into that. But no matter how you make your money, what the difference between the people who make it and the people who don't in life financially is what do they do with it? Right. So make your money how you want to make it, but then understand what to do with it. So your money's always working for you and people are working for you, so that you can have your cake and eat it too.
Agree. And Max got a question, but I'm happy you said that, because as John was talking, my brain said, oh, then I need to talk to Noah, because you got the juju in that space of the investment side of the house.
Yeah, and they just pair so well together. They're like wine and cheese. You know what I mean? It's just like, just do both. There's no reason why you couldn't do both.
Okay. Well, let me know if y'all got any recommendations for a school here in Florida. So yeah, I'm cool with that. Jacob's my mentor and he gonna teach me all the things.
All the fixings.
All the fixings. Thank you. Thanks, Noah. Thanks, John.
Yeah, you bet. All
Absolutely.
right. Max, you had a question?
Yeah, I did. So you talked about doctors, getting ready for retirement and wanting some mailbox money just so that they can, start investing and having kind of their own schedule, making passive income. What about somebody on the opposite end of the spectrum? Because I am an engineer and I work full time right now, and I've only been in the job force about a year. And I'm already getting kind of tired of like the corporate world and working for somebody else. And I've been passionate about real estate for like 3 or 4 years now. And so I'm finally like ready to make that transition and start trying to make income on the side using real estate, whether that be rehabs or investment properties and rent. What advice would you have for somebody like me trying to move from the job market out into investment space?
Multiple streams of income. Right. And it's like, that's a no brainer, but what does that look like? Like if I were to draw a financial statement back here, right? Assets, liabilities, and a balance sheet, and show income, expenses, what's left over, cash flow, right? So it's not just about flipping a house, because even if you go out and you flip a house, okay, great, you made 30 grand, that you still got to go and do another one, right? And I'm at the point now, I hate real estate. I hate flipping houses, but I still do it because I need, I'm building up my cash flow, right? I haven't hit my cash flow goal yet, right? So we still have that active income stream coming in. So any way that you have a way of increasing your revenue, whatever that looks like, right? And be straightforward with you guys and transparent. One of the biggest reasons why I'm going back and getting my real estate license is because so many people come up to me and they're like, hey, can I intern with you? Can I learn how to do what you do? Can I, I want to get involved in real estate. And over the years, organically, over the last like 10 years, I've probably had, 15 or 20 rock star agents. Like if I said their names right now, you'd probably see them or recognize them because you see their names on the billboards and all this stuff, who are crushing it as real estate agents. And I'm like, my gosh, and at one point I thought the key to this was to become a broker and put in all this work and own a building, do all this marketing. And then I did it. And I was like, oh my God, this is my nightmare. I have all this responsibility. I have all these contracts, this insurance, and it wasn't what I wanted. But I like the idea of other people crushing the business, that we're going to crush it regardless if it was under my brokerage or not, and having some income coming from that. So one of the things that's super cool, if you're thinking about even getting your real estate license, is getting your real estate license with a company like EXP, talking to someone like Jacob, where it's like, hey, if you refer someone, there's all these additional income streams, and it's stock options and all this stuff. So like if you look at my portfolio right now, it's stock, it's real estate, it's cash flow, private money loans. So it's not just one thing. So what's going to get you out of that engineering job the quickest is just money, right? And dependable money, when not just flipping a house, because then you got to go and you got to do it again. But if you can flip a house, buy a couple of rental properties, maybe as an agent, you're working as an engineer for the next year or 2 or 3 or whatever, and so you feel really good about jumping ship or doing something different. I would say, look, get your license and start marketing, because if you guys are serious about real estate investing, we're going to be marketing for deals. We're going to be doing direct mail, websites. 9 times out of 10, there's nothing I can do with the house. Like the person's like, hey, the market's hot, I want full value. Cool. Let me refer you to Jake. He's the best agent in town. He's going to take great care of you. He understands crappy houses like yours. He can help you get top dollar for it, working with other investors. And then Jake gives me a referral fee. So there's all these different types of income streams. And I would just say, learn as many as you can, but don't feel like you got to just jump into Chip and Joanna and start buying these moldy houses and doing big projects. There's because sometimes the big projects make just as much as the small ones, or just as much as the referral fee. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have not flipped this house and just had Jake list it, and Jake would have given me a couple of $1,000 and I would have been just as happy. You know what I mean? Yep. So I would search out all those, different options, but it happens one brick at a time, one house at a time, one transaction at a time. And you're in the right place to do that, because whether you talk to Jake, myself, John, my wife is an investing coach. Like, we're going to tell you the same thing. It all starts with just, understanding what that number is, what your monthly cash flow goal is, where you can say, hey, I can walk away from this. And then how do we do that? Do we do that through wholesaling? Do we do that through listing houses, referral fees, or whatever? So I think that involves, and Jake, maybe you could get his number. That involves a one-on-one conversation to say, hey, look, where exactly are you at right now? Because you probably don't want to disclose that in front of 15 other people. And then just working backwards and figuring it out.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Love it.
Cool. I like stuff like this because that's really what it's all about. I mean, like I said, guys, like I love real estate, but I hate it at the same time sometimes.
I hear you.
You know what I mean? Like, I love the people, like, because here's the thing, like, we're flipping, we're doing all this. It's like, if I didn't do this, I'd still have to work for somebody else. I'd hate that 100 times more. Right. So no one to blame but yourself at the end of the day, right? Because you're your own boss.
There's always stuff you got to deal with no matter what you're doing.
Exactly.
There's always that poster to get in the military, cool job. And then it's way different in some aspects.
But we should give them your number, Jake. In fact, can we give everybody your number?
Yeah, we're going to do that. I'm going to talk about the workshop. Do you want me to do that now, or does anybody else have
guys, any last questions for John, guys? No? Oh, man, thank you so much.
Cool.
Yep. Wait, I did have a question.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. So, ironically, about 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine brought me your Sunday Planning 168 model, and we were going through that, watched the video, and really getting a kick out of it. But I had like some questions about differentiating between like an MVP, an HLA, and HLVA, like explicitly, like, is there overlap? Can they be the same, or are these very specifically individually different things?
So, give me an example.
Well, I mean, we were really just looking at it for the first time and like working through and trying to decide, and to be honest, still learning the concepts, but like,
yeah.
Just want to know, how different are those, like, specifically?
Yeah. So the high lifetime value activities are, those things that are personal, that aren't related around work.
Right.
And then, and then your HLAs are around work. Right. Those are the things that are within your control that drive your results. So, lead gen, prospecting, those activities. And then MVPs are out of your rocks, your priorities, your goals, what are the action items that you've got to make progress on, right? So, I have that form on the 168, but I still use the notepad, right? There's all kinds of these things laying around, but and I go through, and whatever that goal is, so whatever's number one, I'll put a box around it, and then that moves down into my top 3 MVPs. The key, though, as soon as you have that, is put it in the calendar, right? Like if literally, if it doesn't make the calendar, it doesn't happen. And there's been times to where I don't get the MVPs in the calendar. There's no action taken on them that week. So that's the difference. The high lifetime value activities are not work. HLAs are work. And then MVPs are whatever your projects are, whatever your goals, and what do you have to make progress on this week? What gets really good, and this is kind of what April was talking about, the who, is that when you have those things, you're assigning, they're not yours, right? You're assigning responsibility to somebody else to take action on. But there's usually, very rarely for me, and it's usually, a couple things. And it could be learning something, right? Just like what Jacob was talking about, the EOS and working on, that value. So maybe an hour that's one of mine. That's one of mine this week, is spend an hour on that, right? Just kind of working through, how to articulate my value better.
Okay. All right. That answers it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Anybody else?
Awesome.
Questions for John? Yeah, we appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, guys. And if you guys need anything, feel free to reach out.
All right.
Thanks, John.
We'll do.
All right. We'll see you. Bye.
Super cool, dude. All right. Hang tight, guys. Don't go anywhere. And then I had a question for Travis. Travis, are you decent from the neck down? Are you decent? I'll wait for you to be decent, and then I'll ask you your question. I got a question for you. But guys, so I'm gonna throw up Jake's number. Or Jake, can you text it? Put it in the chat
I got
box?
it. You want me to share my screen?
Yeah, share your screen. So like a few weeks ago or last month, I just mentioned it. I attended a workshop that Jake did, and it was awesome, you guys. As far as like, I'm not even a real estate agent, I'm just an investor, and I was digging it. I was loving it. So whether you're an agent or investor, I think this is going to be, I know this is something that would be really beneficial to attend. Jake makes it like practically free, beautiful workbook, paid lunch, all this stuff. I'll let him share a little bit about what it is and what he's doing. But we were talking, as I was mentioning earlier on the call, as investors, wouldn't it be cool if we just all worked together and there wasn't like this huge competition? Wouldn't it be cool as real estate agents if everybody just was on the same page and saw the value in saying, hey, let's get this house sold, like let's make a deal. And so Jake's providing a space where people can not only come together in this marketplace and learn and do to network, but also to learn and educate and just get better. What's cool is, you guys, it's Wednesday night and you're on this call. There's a lot of other places you could be. There's things you could be watching on TV, Netflix, whatever, but you chose to educate yourself. And so that tells us a lot about you. Like, we have a lot in common. So if you want to continue to learn and hang out with me and Jake at an event that he's doing, and I'll let him share more information about, I highly recommend coming to check it out. It's not like this huge weekend thing or somewhere you got to get on a plane and go somewhere. It's right here in Columbia. It's just a few hours, but it's not called action orientated agent for no reason, because it's full of action, right, Jake?
Yeah, that's right, man. We got 7 pillars. Thanks for the plug on that, man. I appreciate it. And I'll give John the credit. We use his 168-hour planner in our event. We have the links to his video. We have the tear sheets and everything, plus a lot of other stuff I've learned from John. I've had over 4 different coaches that I've paid for. And John has been really instrumental in teaching me a lot of things. Once you kind of have a basic skill down, John has really been good at the higher level actual business stuff and really teaching you how to be a CEO, how to think like a business owner, and put things in the right order. So I wish that there were more people that did have their license, because as a real estate agent, it's so much easier to pay investors by a referral basis if they're not active in the business. And you can take the stuff that's in action-oriented agent and really develop a plan around your flips, your wholesaling, maybe even a referral business. And then we're going to talk about EXP at the end of our action-oriented agent, and we're going to talk about other revenue streams. And that's only for people that are interested. You don't have to take action on that unless that's something that you're interested in. There's no pressure with any of that. But the action-oriented agent, we've got 7 pillars that we go over. Let me hit the next slide. So, and 2 little bonus sections. So like Noah said, we want you guys to take action, and clarity and implementation, the top and the bottom bullet points there, really to help you guys get the traction that you need in your business rather than just loading you up with a fire hose of information. So we're really busting the whole business wide open on everything we do, from personal development, lead generation, lead conversion. We'll talk about scripts and how to practice those. And we actually have a script practice group. If you come to the event, we'll include you in for free. We're not ever charging for any coaching or anything like that. I'm just covering the event space that we have for these events, and everything is literally free. Never asking you to pay anything for anything else. So unless you buy some of the swag, maybe if you like we're coming out with some cool coffee mugs and some t-shirts and things like that in the future. But everything is really, it's that abundance mindset. Like Noah said, we want to help you guys grow your business so that you do more business with us, however that may show up. So we're going to talk about all the different pillars of our business. And also, like Noah said, action is the key to getting stuff done. And on the next slide, I'm going to have my phone number. And the first person, I only have 1 free ticket to give away today, but I'll give you guys the link to get the half off price right now. Tickets are normally $50. They're going for $25 right now, I think through October 20th. But the first person that texts me, my phone number is on the next slide. So the first person to take action, ready the phones, you guys will get that free ticket, and I'll make sure everybody else that texts me as well gets the half off link. All right, you guys ready? Take some action.
Let's do it.
2, 3, go.
Yeah, it's everything that, I mean, it's pretty much charity what you're doing, Jake.